It is the paragon example of what's referred to as a mystical magical system.
Look, man, it's a MacGuffin, and we're not supposed to understand how it works.
It's a soft system, not a hard system. Oh, rest in pepperoni, Smilable.
Smiling all the way down. Just, I'll have you know.
Ah.
Attackers incoming.
Like cheerily falling to your death. I found it.
It's not that deep though. If you've seen the height difference, I think you would maybe survive that, especially if you were a giant mech. It's not like the bottomless pit of Nepal Sanctum.
That one's terrifying, eh? And like the one on Lijiang Tower as well, with like the
pond.
Yeah, like the holographic fish pond. Because it's not actually a pond; it's just a bottomless pit. Like, I like to think that on the other side of that is Nepal Sanctum.
Yeah, that's our headcanon.
Not that those are on opposite sides of the world, but that's how I like to imagine it. At any rate, here we go. It's the Bellow Doomfist, and what better place to pull it out on than Hanamura? I'm expecting explosive things.
Now, we've sort of established this, but OneShine bring this up when they're really in trouble, but at the same time, they bring it out straight away.
Yeah.
But maybe that means they're straight away in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it does mean, I mean, with Janny going down and it's looking like a few more are going to follow, they are in trouble straight away. Certainly wasn't Bellow's fault, though. He's pulled his weight. He's got the kills through. They're trying to keep him topped off. He may even be able to do more for them, but they're losing a lot of members. Gunn's still getting pressured out here. Puns as well. This is not great. Bellow's still going to try and do it. I mean, he's going to have to get a huge run of kills here, but if anyone's going to do it, it's Bellow on the Doomfist, right? Oh, he even got blue. Are they going to do this?
I think they can, and the thing here is OneShine lost a lot of members, but it doesn't matter for each member they lose, Bellow gets one back. This guy is the Doomfist.
This is just nuts. It's like, haha,
he's not even the guy, he's just literally the fist.
He's like, haha, you fool. Killing my teammate Tony makes me stronger. You gotta kill Bellow, not everyone else.
Right now, eyes on. Well, but this is the thing. If you lose a member right now, okay.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, if you lose a member, it doesn't matter. But if it's Bellow, I mean, it's not quite that like one-sided. But in all seriousness, I mean, the picks that Bellow was able to get, and there were some picks that his other teammates got. It was what got them to point A. But now point B, not quite going to get that same momentum at least.
Well, let's consider that the surprise factor is over. The Doomfist has showed himself. And if you're Logitech G Bang right now, you can prepare for this. You know it's coming. You know you have tools against this. Transcendence available, a Blade available, Pulse Bomb available. You have resources to counter him out.
And they gotta. They're focusing him down. They've recognized the danger of it. And it's not as cut as dry as, you know, oh, you kill Bellow and it's all over, but certainly prioritizing him is a smart call, but they've kind of got the numbers advantage at the top of this fight. One immediately answering back, though the sound barrier not enough to stop him. Pops Oyo up into the air, but one's got a Dragon Blade. He's looking to close this one out without too much difficulty. Bellow has to pop up with the Meteor Strike. Not quite going to be able to punch all the way through Smilable's mech. It looks like one does go down on the very back end of that fight, but it's already a fight win. OneShine are already backing off.
And that's the thing, one's going to respawn fairly quickly now. Bellow also committed his Meteor Strike, and it's sort of already into a fight where, unfortunately for OneShine, it's been consistent that they just keep losing members early, and they're sort of waiting for Bellow to make those trades. Now, the way they're going to win this is not lose anyone early, and then still for Bellow to make trades, because that's then going to be a player advantage they can use.
I really appreciate that Doomfist says the names of all his abilities. Makes the names easy to learn. Imagine if the other heroes did that.
Imagine if you were a boxer and you just said to your opponent every time you won.
Yeah, you called it out. I mean, a bang. Already just off to a great start in this fight. I mean, OneShine didn't really ever get going in that fight either. Oh, one does go down at the end of it, so Bellow, with the rocket punch, is going to catch him against the wall.
Well, you know he's based on fighting games, right? And in fighting games, all the characters say the ability names when they do it. That's the thing. So the
best one was in Super Mario 64, the DS remake. If you played as Wario, when you punch, sometimes instead of making noise like, ha, wow, he'd actually say punch. He'd go, punch, punch. It was very satisfying. That's my impression of Wario. At any rate, OneShine need to pull out some of that Wario juice here, but one just, oh man.
There's some juice
just, yeah, absolutely. He's green as well, so it's like Luigi. Narc able to get out with his life. Oh no, I spoke too soon, and Bello's still alive, so the fight's never truly over. He's a bit low though. OneShine realistically do actually have to reset off this, respecting that defender's advantage. And that's the thing, a Bang, they can go 2 for 2 and win the fight.
This time around though, OneShine are not going to go and commit because, you know, like you sort of said, they're going to respect that a Bang actually won their fight, but also they got ultimates out of a Bang. Importantly, a Nano and a Blaze. Now they get to walk back in. Don't have to worry about those again. They didn't have to use any ultimates themselves. This is starting to look a little bit better and a little bit cleaner on the macro end.
Just charging right in, looking for those opening picks. They've actually got Smileable out of the picture early on. Narc's popping the Primal Rage. They've caught Puns. Bello having to commit the Meteor Strike. He's not really got any good targets for it. Looking for something, finds no one, just has to drop down in the middle of nowhere to instantly get destroyed by the Bunny Blaster of all embarrassing things to die to. And that's going to be that for that push from OneShine. This time it's them committing the ultimates.
Well, that's a little bit unfortunate because a Bang are about to sort of rotate back into other ultimates now. Notably, they're going to get the Blade again. They have a Transcendence against offensive options for OneShine, and this is when Bello has to change onto something else. The explosive power of the Doomfist, no longer the case. The surprise factor is the most important thing about Doomfist. Once the other team knows you have it, they can play around, so for Bello, has to adjust.
Yeah, he's changing from the fist to the sword, you know, a more elegant weapon, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Was it civilized time? I hope I haven't misquoted Alec Guinness. But at any rate, OneShine, they have actually made their way. This may actually be their time. Defensive tools are still there for a Bang. They've got plenty of legs left in the fight, and one with the Dragon Blade does get Janny before he has to duck and hide from the self-destruct. Doesn't look like he's going to get anything else. Is as well going to go down to Bello, so OneShine have themselves a good opening here. Popping Oyo, res onto Janny as well, and self-destruct from Smileable! Oh, changes that tune quick, smart, like a tempo shift. And OneShine, for these return kills, aren't going to be able to get anything. They just have to go into full retreat.
And that's something you can have a smile about as well. For OneShine, they have to just walk on out and Logitech a Bang. I mean, that's all they really needed at the end of the day. Double kill from the self-destruct into further respawns from their own team. Doesn't even matter that OneShine started to get a couple trades on the back end. They can't reinforce nearly as quick as a Bang. That means a Bang win another fight. And that means OneShine now really starting to run out of time.
Oh, Puns. Oh, dear. Oh, no way. Oh, Blue with the rundown. Puns was just trying to hit and run a little bit. And unfortunately ends up costing his team a bunch of time on the reset.
Going to be a little bit of time. Actually gets rezzed up, so OneShine want to go in here, but they're not going to have the res available for some time now going into the actual push itself, which may make quite a bit of a difference, and they're going to go up against another Nano, which is going to be rather difficult.
Oh, man.
Bello's down. There's no res for them, so you got to wait the full
They just got to wait it out.
duration.
Exactly. And this is just even more time. Oh, and Janny as well. This is disgusting, just how much time is getting lost by OneShine here as the picks come through.
60 seconds.
And now with only 1 minute remaining as well, like we were just here at 1:45.
Yeah.
45 seconds have disappeared, just waiting for 3 members. 3 members that kept on going down one by one. Now they're finally up. We got a Blade, we got ourselves a Valkyrie, but Logitech G-Bang, they have tools too.
And what, they had 5 minutes or something, so that's
This is
a whole lot of failure, you gotta say. You know, a whole lot of pushes that have been unsuccessful, not getting it through, and a Bang just cycling through the ultimates on the defense so incredibly well, always keeping a read. Wow,
no
popping Bello, super fast. I don't know what happened to Blue there. One does go down, res on Bello. This is the opportunity. This is the window. They've got to make something happen here. There is still defensive tools for a Bang, though, to stall out for these respawners. Transcendence the first thereof. Zenith pops the Primal Rage. Here's Bello with the Dragon Blade, immediately gets gets one! Just as he was pulling out his own blade. Hand-to-hand combat. We've gone far beyond that now as the explosions coming out on both sides of the fence here. But it is OneShine still ahead in the fight. They are not done yet, though. A Bang pulling out their own Doofus now, and Bello corner trapped against an angry Winston. And one slam dunks Puns, taste of his own medicine, I suppose, or at least the OneShine brew getting served back at them, even catching Janny. And that's going to be a Bang stabilizing on the defense. You play Doomfist, I play Doomfist.
And now we're starting to see from a Bang as well, not from a Bang rather, but from OneShine, because on Thursday evening, we did see OneShine's finale, that conclusion of their Week 3 match, and we started things out at Hanamura, and in that map, we saw them get stomped up exactly here. They just cannot cap on B. They can get A, sometimes they can get A very quickly, but they can't complete that B attack.
Yeah, something just chronically seems to be going wrong for them there, unfortunately, except for that one time we saw the Doomfist that first time around. But that's the thing, I think you said it. You said it during the course of that series, more referring to the difference between the point A push and the point B push, but I think it's also true just of this team in general, right? The surprise factor's kind of gone from the Doomfist. And that's not to say that they rely on the surprise factor. He's a great Doomfist player as well. But even so, the more you can be ready for it, the more you can anticipate it, the better it works. Or the worse it works, I suppose, if you're defending.
And Doomfist is also a really good brawl type of character, so you want to be using him when you're in the thick of combat. The problem is, so many times OneShine we're not in the thick of combat because they're setting up, they're trying to push through, they're trying to rotate into the right area. While that's happening, Doomfist is not your best friend. He's not very good at doing that. He can't provide a lot of damage output. He can't poke out the other team. He has to be in melee combat. That's when he's effective. But if you can't ever get into melee combat because your team gets stopped up, well, Doomfist, not very good.
And that's the thing. That is what ABANG were doing constantly to OneShine. Picking off members, catching them on the rotation, stopping them while they were setting up before they could charge in with that Doomfist. And that's exactly what we're talking about, the preparation once you are ready for it, once you know they're running a Doomfist. And the reality is Genji does fall into some of those same places. So that same kind of play style for ABANG with the defense still worked even when Bello swapped. So.
Well, but at least with the Genji's much better at poke. The Genji has much more significant poke and much better follow-up abilities. That being said, though, because of that, I mean, both teams are going to stick on to this Genji, and Bello still couldn't find quite enough success. So this time around, looking for more.
Genji on the defense, Genji on the offense. Zenith, dead. That's the opening now for ABANG, actually. They should just be able to start piling on in. Yeah, they've dropped gun, they've got the tanks out of the picture, and now it's just a whole bunch of squishies that are a little bit too scattered. I think even with the pick on one here, I think they know better than to really stay in too long, or maybe they don't, because now they're just getting buffeted back. They're actually going to get all 6 kills there. OneShine could have just retreated.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't know, then now you know, because Logitech G-Bang are going to be able to remind you. And with that, though, the one thing that you can sort of at least say is a silver lining is Bello, because he killed one, managed to get slightly more ult charge in the first ult of the game, going to be incredibly impactful here. And with Bello being ahead, right now he should get the first ultimate charge, assuming Blue doesn't get a ton of damage out. And if he gets a quick Dragon Blade, he can just end the fight and claim that defense.
But that's also assuming he doesn't get picked or something. He's charging up the last little bit of it. And there is going to be that window before any of those defensive kills are in, but one's got one back. Bello does have one in his own right, though. They've got to get the Dragon Blade. Ooh, might not need it. They've popped one. The defender's advantage will start to kick in here for OneShine. Bang. Yeah, they just have to lick their wounds on this one.
And they can be happy with the one-to-one trades, right? Because that means they have that defender's advantage. They have that respawn advantage so close to their base. Also, though, Logitech G-Bang, because they only lost 2 members, they don't have to fall back too far. They can just sort of hang out into the side area, wait for the respawners. One's nearly got a Dragon Blade. Blue actually used the Pulse Bomb, missed, and that's one less ult.
Oh, man.
No, he didn't.
Punz trades one back, yeah, but I think Punz one is going to be a little bit more impactful. One, oh, catches Bello, who still hasn't committed that Dragon Blade. There is not many members of OneShine left. That's the gone. That's the third. Boom, it's over. ABANG 3, and at least for now 0. The question is, can they make it the full 4-0? We're talking about how important that extra bit of map score is going to be for trying to stay secure in that 4th place. Get into playoffs, make the cut off. For OneShine is still just looking for something in return here.
And this is where it's really difficult for OneShine, because you saw right at the end there, you wanted to use the Dragon Blade out of Bello. You wanted to see some of those ultimates come into play. The Pulse Bomb for Pulse Bomb, that was a 1-for-1 trade. You also need to see both Dragon Blades out, but you only got the one out of ABANG. You didn't quite see the one out of Bello instead. And that's because, well, you mean he got taken down by one quite early. One wanted a little bit of that revenge, because previously on ABANG's defense, it was Bello that killed him mid-Dragon Blade. And actually, you can almost say for Bello, he had the discipline to hold on to the blade and not use it and die with it. So he had that going for him. But the rest of his team couldn't stay long enough, alive long enough for him to respawn and then use the blade.
And that's the thing, you know, you will give him that, but at the same time, he was going to be closer to charging it up. Things were going all right, but he was just picked out. That's the thing. They recognized it. They recognized the threat. They instantly shut him down, and from that point on, you were quite right. But imagine, you know, imagine that pick hadn't happened. Imagine he's alive in that fight, and he's got the Dragon Blade, and he's able to use it. Instead, yeah, despite, you know, by rights leading the entire game, in fact, in terms of ultimates coming up on rotation, never got a chance to use it at all.
And that is, it's going to be a lot of, unfortunately, hindsight for OneShine to think about there. But
Yeah.
now you got to look forward. You got to stop thinking about that. You got to think about your next map. You got to think about map number 4, going on to escort OneShine's last opportunity this evening in this series to find a map, and it has come up. We're going to Junkertown.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because I like Junkertown.
Good.
It's that simple. It is an enjoyable map for me. I hope it's an enjoyable map for you.
It's not bad. I'm
not bad?
somewhat impartial.
What's your favorite map?
Unpopular opinion, but I actually quite like Horizon. Just the way it's laid out, the way it plays. Actually, sorry, not the way it plays. That's probably the biggest complaint is the way it plays. But actually, I like the way it plays at this level where teams, there's a lot of options for macro play and how you set up fights and all that's quite nice.
You know, it's exactly what I like about Junkertown. I just think it's
got a takeout. What else? What else do you need?
It's take away, for goodness sake. We don't even call it
If you're
takeout in
American,
this
you
country.
call it takeout.
Yeah.
See, I'm just pandering to the overseas viewers.
But they're wrong.
But in their side of the world, it's right. So I mean,
It's also,
everybody's right. And
I believe it's
their
also
home.
takeaways in the UK. So. And that's the thing. It's not actually takeaway. It's takeaways.
It's all perspective. It's all about.
No. There is a wrong and a right here. Don't try and let them off the hook. All right. They spell color wrong as well. We already had a perfectly serviceable word. We were calling it a lift. We didn't have to change it to elevator. That's far too many syllables for how simple a function that device performs. Americans need to stop overcomplicating our language.
Group up here.
Well, yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Soapbox over. Back to Junkertown. That's the other thing I like about this map. It is my opportunity to riff on Australians. That's why I riffed on Americans.
We're at Junkertown.
Yeah, all right. Just going to come out the gate now here. OneShine going to be running the old pirate ship. Let's see if they can get this set up on the payload. What do you think of this, Kevin? This defense? Blue's really fishing for those headshots. He's not really had much success, but he's got the ult charge. But really that first Widow shot, the one that connects, oh, it is Bello going down. They should be able to res him back up on the payload. Blue does get that first headshot in. There's the res, actually goes on to Smileable. So they are really respecting the Roadhog hook. They've got Bello back up on the payload as well. Or actually, no, they've had to sort of back up from this one now. They were looking good for a while there, but gonna have to reset. All right, that's enough of that.
And with that, they're pushed back.
Pushed.
But seriously, they have been pushed back now, and now they've got to start to consider, you know, how much further can we use this sort of this pirate ship? How much further can we continue with the Bastion? They're losing Goddess in this exchange as well.
Kind of run
Which
aground.
pushes them back just slightly further backwards, and now slightly further back again, and even further back.
Oh, this is painful. And this is the point where, like, tank mode or no, they do have to consider, hey, maybe the pirate life is not for me. Maybe I should have never left the Royal Navy. And yeah, that's what they're going to have to go with. They're just over onto the Genji now. And that does mean they still actually need to get an opening in this fight, by the way. Like, swapping off the pirate ship doesn't mean, okay, now you win the map, because the defense from a bang is also still really good.
Oh, didn't quite complete the whole hook combo there as well, and still losing members. Bello wants to be the one to really try and take down Blue, but he's being pocketed, so...
Yeah, and now Bello's just kind of on the wrong side of this fight, has to try and find a way to RV with his team. Riptire out. I mean, is this like a spawn camp Riptire? Really? The zoning members in? I still found Zenith! Oh, man.
And the problem here, this is like a reverse pirate ship, right? Because now a bang with the Orisa Hog combination
down.
because we're in Australia, because with the Orisa Hog combination, they're actually the ones in control of this card, so they have the Orisa Hog on the card, which is what OneShine wanted to do originally.
That's actually what a real pirate ship would be. It's where you take the ship off the enemy. The real pirates here are a bang on the defense. I mean, this is very genuine. Narc getting an opening onto Gun's mech. They do at least drop the supercharger. Gun can't. Oh no! Didn't even get the remech and got us with this Valkyrie. Has to get a lot of work done on the backside here as Bello. But the moment that deflect ends, he's got that. He's got the Discord on him, and he's just separated from his team. The payload's barely even moved.
Well, you said it right there. He's separated from his team, and right now he's going on solo missions to try and take out Blue. It's being read, it's being counted, and Bello is being punished for it. OneShine need to not overcommit onto Blue here. They need to respect Blue, but that doesn't mean you need to just start throwing bodies at him without good reason. They have to work this card still. They have to dislodge the tank and then get a flank onto Blue simultaneously.
Changing up the composition once again, going on to the Reaper to try and bust through these tanks, but there's going to be this whole hog coming in here, and Bello, I mean, this will have to be his first good Dragon Blade of the series for them to really start getting this underway. The payload, once again, has barely moved.
You almost can't get a good Dragon Blade because there's a Transcendence for one, and if that wasn't enough, a whole hog just pushes you away. You cannot blade into a whole hog.
Oh man, just throwing out the Riptire here. Oh, gets Bello. Zenith as well is already dead. I mean, this is just only 30 seconds left here, and I mean, hey, maybe they started with the pirate ship, but I bet OneShine wish they were in Sherbrooke now.
I don't even know where that is, so.
It's all right. Oh!
It gets worse. It gets worse because we're waiting for respawners, and Janny had the Transcendence as well. You got no time. You need the Transcendence. You need the ultimates. Right now, you just got to use
They're going for it. He's got to commit this Dragon Blade. Transcendence or no. He has to go in. This is his only opportunity. He's the only one with the ultimate as well now that Janny's Transcendence has gone out. They're finally getting some headway. Here goes Bello straight into Oyo's Transcendence. The whole hog as well. Resin onto Narc. The hook coming in. They drop Zenith. They do at least pop Blue in response. Done! What? Where's that been this whole time? OneShine finally moving this cart.
Well, the problem is you can't just use it out of nowhere. You have to have certain things in your win condition. You have to have certain things happening to this team. One of which is, first of all, get rid of the Orisa, make sure there's no shield, put OneShine, or rather put Logitech Gia Bang on the back foot, make them retreat into the open space, and then it's going to be the self-destruct into 3 and a supercharger.
And they may just get the cap off this, but a Bang and not going to let it go so easily. Pulse Bomb onto Narc though. That's an opening that OneShine desperately need. They've got Oyo as well. They should be able to keep this offense going. Riptire isn't quite going to be that big 5-man that they need. They do get a couple back here and there, but this is OneShine at least with momentum going. They get another 2.5 minutes for this point B. Now, that so nearly didn't happen.
And just when it needed to happen, it did exactly that. So for OneShine though, they're going to continue this. A Bang actually fairly onto the back foot. They've had to change 3 members, in fact maybe even 4 members here. Shin as well. No ultimates on the side of a Bang, plenty of ultimates, even ones coming up online for OneShine as well. Positioning advantage. They got not too much time, but they should be able to get this beast underway.
They're just trying to keep the aggression going, but they do lose Pun unfortunately early on. Gun gonna have to commit a self-destruct to preserve the mech. Not looking for a 4K that time around. Gets back in, but a Bang, oh dear, in a bit too deep. They sense the opportunity to get aggressive and maybe sort of catch OneShine in a tight spot, but unfortunately it's not paid off. Now going aggressive in their own right with the Transcendence. They've got so many kills, they're looking to turn it into a full-on rout. Picking up Blue now, picking up Oyo and looking to get rid of Shin as well. Momentum on the side of OneShine.
And they don't even need to overcommit ultimates. They can just pick and choose which ones they like. It was the Valkyrie, it was the Transcendence, and that's all they will need. And right now for Logitech Gia Bang, only just starting to come onto some ults. They're going to have to use them though if they want to hold on to B, but they're playing into another Blade. They're playing into another Pulse Bomb. These two could both be big.
Looking for it still. Janny's super low, but he didn't go down. That could be a real saver here for OneShine. They've got a Primal Rage for Zenith. He's going to have to pop it now. They do lose Puns. Bello, he gets one with the Dragon Blade. Tanks are not what he really wants to be whacking away at though, and he's going to get dropped as he's putting the blade away. That's about as rough as it can get, and a Bang are starting to stabilize now on this defense. Gun throwing out a self-destruct, unless this is another crazy 4K. This is looking like it'll be the end of this offense. Bello got rezzed in there. I'm not quite sure why. He's going to go down anyway. Just waste time.
It's about trying to preserve that fight if you can. For OneShine, they're a tenacious team. They want to keep on fighting, and for that now they're going to be under 30 seconds. The biggest issues here was we needed to see a little bit more out of those ultimates. The fight went on long enough for one to actually get an EMP. The EMP coming up perfectly on top of Bella's blade. That shut him down so fast.
Oh man, they're going to have to commit for this one way in advance of where they want to. They're miles away from the payload. Someone's just going to have to run for it. Gun's got no mech. He doesn't have the mobility. Zenith is dead. It's got to be Bello, or maybe Pun's got it there as well. Pulse Bomb does go out, catches Shin. They need to pop Oyo, they've got him. Now it's just Narc and Blue, they've got the ultimates, but OneShine can start reinforcing this. Puns drops Blue. This may have actually worked for them. Now Narc in with the Primal Rage, he'll be able to delay for the rest of his teammates, but OneShine, they can get the rest of their teammates in too. Rez onto Bello, looking to just reinforce on this, and they've dropped Narc. This may have actually worked for them. A Bang, a bit too overextended.
And Bang couldn't get in with enough members as well, despite the Primal Rage coming through from Narc there. The members of a Bang kind of just slipped in one by one. They didn't quite have the reinforcements available. They clutch Rez onto Bello as well. As soon as the time was available, as soon as Goddess had enough space to get that Rez into play, enough members from OneShine reinforced onto the cart, not enough members from a Bang went on.
That's the second time now. OneShine are getting so much progress that you almost feel they shouldn't have got, at least for how well a Bang were playing up until that point, but that you've also got to consider it's been great play from OneShine in those clutch moments. That's where it's really come through for them. Bello now trying to keep that going for them. They do pop Smileable's mech. Once again, Transcendence from Oyo means Bello doesn't get much of the blade. Goes down at the end of it as well. That's so many times he's swung and not got anything, then died at the end of it.
Everyone else.
Yeah, everyone else is happy to do the work for him, even in spite of that EMP. This is the momentum they need through C.
But that's the thing, right? Because even if he doesn't get anything on the Dragon Blade, it doesn't matter. He forced out the Transcendence, he forced out resources from a Bang, and that allows the rest of his team, the other 5 members, to gain momentum, to find opportunities to make the plays happen, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you say those other 5 members, 3 of whom still have ultimates. Valkyrie in early in the fight. Like I said, looking to keep that snowball going. Smileable was able to get back into the spawn and reset the mech. Zenith, they're working overtime to keep him topped up. They got the Transcendence in, and they are going to stabilize him. Looking to pop out Smileable's mech as well. They're going to get one.
This looks like a cap.
This is looking like a cap indeed. OneShine, they're pushing it through. I can't believe this. They didn't move the cart for the whole 3.5 opening minutes. I think it was 10 seconds left when they finally truly got it moving, and they end up capping out completely.
I was going to say, if they just manage to cap on B, if they lose right at the start of C, because they only had about 1:30, that still would have been enough. That still would have been 1.5 extra points that maybe they shouldn't have been able to get. In fact, it was 2 points, because A included A and a B capture would have been 2 more points that they weren't meant to get when you look at how dominant that defense was from a Bang on that first point. But everything else, and then on top of that, getting the full C cap, wow, a Bang fell to pieces there, and that explosion, that self-destruct coming out of gun there, I mean, the ripple effects went all the way on for the rest of the map.
Even when a Bang were starting to dig in their heels again on B, get the defense going. It was an almost overzealous defense from a Bang that actually started off kind of well, but they should have known that OneShine, the moment they were getting aggressed upon and engaged upon that early, that they were just going to leg it to the cart, and they kind of didn't respect that. OneShine ended up getting a couple of members on the cart and getting a few kills in the fight, suddenly finding themselves in the advantageous position. It was a Bang scrambling.
This is where OneShine actually are at their best, right? Because we've seen OneShine in other scenarios, and this is where we got to go back to that Fable series when we first saw Bellows Doomfist come out, when they won Hanamura, when they forced that best of 5 series all the way up to map number 5 against Xavier, where we thought maybe that should have been a Xavier 3-0, maybe a Xavier 4-0, but it went to 5 maps because OneShine did not let up. When it looked incredibly dire, OneShine pulled out all the stops and they made it work.
And, like, suddenly things just go off for them. You almost wish they could play like this all the time, right? Like, if you can get these map wins when you're firing on all cylinders, if you can fire on all cylinders all the time.
But the caveat is you can't get a 4K, or rather a 3.5K with the Diva Bomb every single time. You can't rely on that. So, I mean, you say firing on all cylinders, but if what it needs is some crazy play like that, I don't think you can rely on it.
Yeah, or, you know, a 4K out of Bello on the Doomfist, or a Dragon Blade, or a massive Pulse Bomb from Puns. You're completely right. It's going to be the pirate ship for a Bang on the offense as well.
It's going to be the HMS Oreo.
Yeah, he is going to be running out the old Bastion.
Not a pirate ship. HMS sounds like that's Royal Navy. That can't be a pirate ship.
Yeah, because it's His Majesty's or Her Majesty's ship is what that stands for. But it's going well. That's what's important.
Against the pirates.
Yeah.
It's the Royal Navy now sailing
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, They kind of are the genuine pirates, though. We were saying that earlier. They actually kind of took the payload off OneShine when they were on their defense, but now OneShine on the defense, no such luck. Not really having any luck against these pirates.
So this has been a pretty quick... But just by the way, while we're saying that, it was also OneShine who then took it back and completed the map. But enough about that. It is also Logitech Giabang now completing that a point and in record time as well. If it was a good push on through from OneShine eventually to complete the map, so far, Abang are on track to do the same.
Huns did get a nice headshot here, which slows down Logitech Giabang just a touch. That Dragon Strike, though, out of 1 should be what helps break the defense, and they haven't really contested the cart much just yet. Abang are actually set up pretty far in advance here. OneShine's still just trying to get a pick somehow.
And this is a problem because the cart basically hasn't stopped whatsoever. With the Valkyrie out, you got to think it's about time to push.
They're finally going for the dive, but that just clusters them up for the Dragon Strike. Bello did get Oyo off the payload, but look at how low these OneShine members are. Abang only need to finish them off. They get the res on Oyo as well, so they've still got the damage output. He's coming up close on a configuration tank as well, which they may just need to close out this fight. It's not quite gone ideally, but they finally drop puns. Janny as well.
Tank mode did come out.
Yeah, it is being committed here, and they're keeping him topped off just barely. Transcendence in clutch moments from Janny should be a stabilization point for OneShine. And I think Abang, yeah, they know that this is done for. They have to back off.
It's a strange place for the stabilization to happen because for the longest time, OneShine did not commit onto the cart. They did not go for the dive. And for Logitech Giabang, they just kept on pushing on through. In fact, even with losing that fight, there's a lot of cart distance. The biggest loss for Abang is actually them changing their whole composition, which they are forced to do because they no longer control the cart.
I'm liking the Pharah here, though. I think this is an interesting option, and you're actually noticing that OneShine are no longer running that Widowmaker as well. So Blue has an amount of safety in this as well. If they can just kind of keep the barrage damage on, if they can keep kind of pummeling OneShine, keeping them ducking for cover, they should just be able to control this open space.
But OneShine have ultimates, and they need to use that. They need to use the advantage, because if they wait around, exactly what you said, Blue's damage will count. So far, it doesn't count because Bella's doing the damage first.
At least there is that, but they are being maybe too conservative with these ultimates. You're quite right. It doesn't matter.
Without them.
It doesn't matter this time around because they are still winning the fight, but they can't afford to do that twice. I think this next defense they are going to have to commit them proactively.
Well, it depends. If you can find the kills without the ultimates, then you can win the fights without them. But if you're failing to do that, then you need to use the ultimates. So I guess it's you know, finding the right opportunity and then responding appropriately. And speaking of, it's going to be punts. Maybe looking for a back, not a back camp play, but rather it's a sneaky play from the back.
And he's kind of got the angle here. Oh, Bello's in. Huns does commit the pulse bomb, doesn't quite connect. Bello gets 2 before going down, so plenty fine on the defense. They got Blue late in it as well, so OneShine had plenty of time to get Bello back in the fight. Those are the sorts of fights they need.
We also do now see as well the Pharah being switched off here. So for Logitech Giabang, I mean, it is strange for them. Like, usually when you're the pharmacy team against a dive team with a Genji Tracer, you're not the team swapping off. You're forcing the other team to swap. So you know it's bad when you're swapping.
One's not really getting too much done with his Dragon Blade. Looking now for Janny. Didn't get Janny or Goddess. Finally getting Janny at the very end of the fight. They've kind of got the opening that they need on OneShine as well. Goddess is now down. The dive has just kind of gone a little bit unanswered this time around for OneShine. Those few resources they had, the 2 tank ultimates just kind of going off to no effect. Gun not getting another 4K, at least not this time around. Smiteable does preserve his mech as well thanks to the self-destruct, and the payload's looking like it'll roll through to C.
It's a decent amount of progress here as well. In fact, decent amount of hold-up from the OneShine guys, all things considered. I mean, there was a lot more momentum coming through from the bang that kind of got stopped up for quite an amount of time onto B. So for OneShine now, 3 minutes 03 is still very defendable. But also, for Bang, 3 minutes 03 is very capital.
And that was a big pick actually catching Janny, because that's one of the few tools they really have here is this Transcendence. Still going to be able to get to use it, but it gives a Bang a little bit of early progress into C. Which is that's where a ship ought to be.
And we'll see where OneShine can actually stop up the ship as well, because for, you know, Logitech Giabang, they've been able to get a lot of progress through before OneShine actually stopped that. And OneShine need to be able to stop it early.
Oh, they've got the early picks. That's the thing. Once again, relatively cheap. They only have to commit the Valkyrie into that. Oh, but they lose Bello. Going to have to res him back into the fight. Actually goes to res Zenith. And Shin brings back his co-support, so a Bang. They're in for a penny, in for a pound here. But Tons with the double pulse bomb on both those supports. you know, rezzed him up so that he could die alongside him, seems to be the game plan there for Shin. OneShine, that is the sort of defense that they need, and they only need to do about 2.5 more of them.
And they definitely can, because the current distance this time around is so much better for OneShine. This will be what would have looked like if OneShine had stopped a bang earlier on onto B altogether, and now with 2 minutes, even if they lose this fight, they can regroup for a later part into C and still maintain the defense.
Although Goddess gets picked, they trade one back. That's good. Punish on the dive. Didn't pop that Primal Rage. One now getting pressured low as well, but they've got puns. Transcendence in from Oyo. They want to keep going on this one, and they may as well. OneShine, they have a lot of low members. Janny's got to pop that ultimate if he maybe wants to stay alive here. It goes down to one.
Bello.
Kind of lets it happen. Bello, yeah, he is going to stay alive, but Gun's not going to be so lucky. And OneShine are now waiting for respawns here.
And look at the bang, they've actually got a lot of members with ultimates, but they're still losing the Bello with the blade. Finally, we're seeing it work.
At long last, in between him and Puns, they are able to force them back. That was dire. That was really, really touch and go for OneShine. But you have to say, off the back of it, a bang actually gets to come in with a bunch of ultimates now.
But they've lost so much time. They had this many ultimates in the last fight. They had this many ultimates coming in for a while now, but they haven't had the chance to actually commit, and when they do, couple of defensive options available for OneShine as well, and even if OneShine lose, they are guaranteed another defense.
There's the self-destruct forward, throwing it into the back, does not quite catch all the members that they're after, only gets the DMAC on Gun. There's going to be the ultimate out of Janny, and they may be able to get Gun back in the back. No, not quite. Narc on the dive. Now One looking to slice and dice. OneShine gets a couple, has to pop the... Oh, man! The deflect onto Bello, and then the swing. Now they've got the payload back moving.
But now the problem, Logitech G-Bang is starting to run out of resources. They only have a Valkyrie, and Goddess is about to have one himself. So coming into this next defensive play for OneShine, you got to think with the defender spawn advantage, they can do this.
They absolutely can, and that's massive when you consider how well Logitech's own defense initially went, how hard it was for OneShine to push it through. They're on the cusp of doing it. They've got Smileable too, and Logitech G a bang. They were told they'd cruise the seas for American gold, they'd fire no guns, shed no tears, but now they're broken men on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. OneShine will get one map back in the series.
And it's such a well-deserved one as well. OneShine fought tooth and nail on that first attack. You thought this was going to be all one and done. It was going to be a bang, just closing things out easily onto A. The cart barely even moving on through. Everyone just give this play a look, because this was absolutely disgusting.
With one fat ball, the Yanks stove us in. How you liking these Stan Rogers references? It's doing it for you. But Logitech G-Bang, crucially they walk away with the win, and that is what they came into tonight desperately needing. A loss would have put them in very hot water. The win, however, lets them be just that much safer. I think they may still need to get the last one to truly confirm that top 4 spot. But the 3-1 is also a big help to that end as well. It's not quite the 4-0 they were needing, but you've really just got to credit OneShine for that. I mean, to go from nearly not making any progress on the payload, or barely any, and then having 10 seconds remaining before finally getting underway, getting all the way through to the end. I mean, that is nothing short of miraculous, and that means that that map win is nothing short of deserved, but the series win is absolutely more deserved for Logitech G a bang, who may just be able to make that playoffs run after all.
Yeah, it's not going to be the dream reverse sweep coming up from OneShine, but they'll be happy to get that one for a bang. They'll be happy enough to get the 3 because they secured their victory, ever more securing their final place in the top 4 right now, coming in 4th place. They just now need to make sure they hold on to it against Yoshimoto and Count, who have about 2 matches remaining next week, and that will mean that for a bang, they make it to the playoffs. And I think for OneShine now, with that loss, they just about rolled out. They're already in 6th place, and you can see it right there on your screens, a 3-1.
And I think you're quite right. I think that may just mean they unfortunately don't quite make it through, having not quite had those series wins. I think even the win, if they do get it against Yoshimoto, wouldn't quite be enough for them, and that is a little unfortunate. Yoshimoto, on the other hand, I think they'd have to get like 2 4-0s, but I think technically they may still be able to qualify. The map record would have to be the difference maker between them and a bang. I will have to double check that, just because with it not being a 4-0 here for a bang, I think the 3-1 may just tip it the way that it's not quite secure, but it's effectively secure, because if I'm not mistaken, one of Yoshimoto's games is like a really tough one, you know?
They have blank.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's one thing to play against OneShine, who currently also don't really have those wins on the board. It's another thing to play against the first place team in the group.
So tough seas ahead, tough sailing ahead for all of the teams of the remaining games, especially if we're going to Junkertown again.
Poop deck.
What? But with that, look, I mean, OneShine, they've had an interesting run. They've had some really good moments. And the great thing about them as a team is that despite being the number 6 team in Group B, they've been really fighting tooth and nail against every single opponent.
Yeah.
They've been taking maps left and right. They've been really, you know, again, pushing teams, but in spectacular fashion as well. We've just seen it tonight. We've seen it earlier on against Xavier. We've seen it in other series as well. In fact, we even saw it when OneShine played Blank in week number 1. Look,
Seen it every time they played.
Blank, and I think Blank would be able to say, look, that was one of their tougher matches, actually.
Yeah.
So OneShine, despite not making the top 4, have actually done a really good job.
And when we talk about these teams that don't make it in having to fight their way back through trials, this is a team that I think we really could be seeing back next season of Contenders. I mean, they have kind of challenged all of these teams, and there's been times they've taken maps off them. Again, if they can just tidy things up, if they can make moments of that a bit more consistent. And I don't mean, you know, consistently getting Diva 4Ks and consistently getting, you know, huge runs of kills with Doomfist, because that's never going to be a consistent thing. But there are other good things this team is doing that if they could get more consistent on, they could actually turn, you know, 1 or 2 map wins back into, hey, we've actually picked up a series here. And then from there, you can start turning that into, all right, we're picking up a few wins. We can now make it into that top 4, make a playoffs run of our own. I think this is a slow burn team. I think maybe by the time we hit season 3 of this year's Pacific Contenders, maybe we look at OneShine actually making it into a semi-final.
And that would be certainly a big upgrade for that team. But also on the other side of things, we've got to talk about Abang, because Abang now is still an underdog team, all things considered. Like, again, this is not a fully professional team. They've actually got incredible kind of results coming in, despite not being a professional team. They are beating teams that are professional teams, like Yoshimoto and Count, who are here to play full-time. And, you know, Abang are actually in this top 4. They're actually going to make the playoffs as far as we know, as far as we can tell right now towards the end of week 4.
Yeah.
And for a team that is kind of filling in the shoes of some of the old Taiwanese teams that have been and gone, a team that are kind of, you know, maintaining that national pride almost a little bit. And also, again, is a team that is kind of being formed as more through, you know, a bunch of friends rather than serious pro gamers at this level.
And that's the thing. You talk about slow burn teams and high ceilings. Abang actually will get a shot to make a playoffs run. And this is a team that's really at the beginning of their story, right? They, you know, they have just kind of come together very recently. They are really just a bunch of friends who are starting to push that envelope into pro play. You know, this is, I mean, even just team aside for the players, this is the sort of place where careers do start. You have a bit of success. You realize, hey, maybe we can do this. You know, you start practicing more. You start being able to dedicate more and more time to it. That means you start improving, you start doing better, you make it into playoffs again, you make it into a semi-final, you find yourself in season 3 contenders, and then you're really starting to push some of these far more established teams in this tournament. You know, the likes of Blank and Mega, even Detonator Korea, who have actually been an organization in the scene for a while, even though they haven't been able to have teams specifically within this top tier circuit. The stage is kind of set for these teams, not just moving into playoffs now, but actually over the year as a whole. And this ultimate performance aside, I think there are a lot of teams here that are really starting to make a mark now on the Pacific circuit where none had existed for them before. I think that's exciting.
We'll have to see exactly how Abang go up against Detonator Korea later on as well. You know, assuming they hold on to this number 4 spot, assuming Detonator Korea, in fact, Detonator Korea right now are just going to finish number 1. It's going to be a reasonably tough match, but, you know, Abang have had tough matches already. They've come out reasonably in shape. I mean, they've been sort of, you know, they've lost to the likes of, say, Blank, but they've also pushed some other teams. I mean, in their very first week, Abang pushed Mega to a full 5-map series. So things like that, you know, Abang have the possibility to make some really surprising results sometimes, and no one can really sleep on this team, at least not just yet. So a lot of these young teams, will be interesting to see exactly how far they go. And now, I guess, coming up, we can also start to think about on the other side of the table, speaking of teams making it into playoffs and teams that unfortunately might not make it in there, we still have Bazaar and Chaos Theory left to go. So one of those teams could still really punch on through. And, you know, for a team that's so far in Group A, which has been, right now, looks to be more of a settled group. Detonator Korea, we know we're going to finish number 1.
Yeah.
Hong Kong Attitude are going to finish number 2, but for everything else down there, Machi looking to stay on number 3, Talon look to stay on number 4, but actually, Bazaar could potentially challenge Talon for that number 4 spot.
And that's the thing, especially in the case of Talon and technically still in the case of Machi. They aren't quite secure just yet. You're only ever a couple of losses away from not making it, but let's go ahead and catch up now with some of the members of OneShine and Abang.
And we're going to have one from Logitech G-Bang and Bello from OneShine Esports.
สวัสดีปีใหม่ไทยด้วยนะครับขอให้คนที่เล่นสงกรานต์อยู่ที่ไทยเล่นปลอดภัยนะครับแล้วก็ขอให้เล่นน้ำกันอย่างสนุกสนานดูแลสุขภาพด้วยนะครับ
他说呢，祝大家新年快乐，泼水节快乐。
wish everyone
然后走在路
Happy
上
New
要
Year.
小心，不要被水泼。然后新年
And
间所有
for
粉丝
everyone
的
at home
支
in
持。
Thailand, be
好
careful
谢谢
not to
Bello，谢谢。那我们下去
get
休息
caught
一
by the
下。
sea.
谢谢。好，那我们这边呢是阿
Must be
边
into
队
the
的
water
旺，
sports.
还跟大家打声招呼。
嗨，大家
Say
好，
hello to everyone.
我是阿飞的旺。
好，你不要紧张，不要，我知道你很紧张。那我们知道阿边队呢，其实不是职业选手出身，
So we
那
know
这一路应
Bang
该很不容易吧？
are not a pro team.
还蛮辛苦的。
Has it been quite a difficult journey? He says it's been definitely very challenging.
那第一个问题是想要问你们觉得现在你们最大的对手是谁呢？
Who do you think is your biggest competition?
HK 跟 KR 这3队都很强。
Detonator Korea, Machi, and Hong Kong Attitude on the other side are all very
对
tough.
你们有信心，好不好？我对你们有信心。那刚OneShine啊有一个拳王嘛
So
，Bello，
Bello's
觉得
doing
Bello 的
first.
拳王打得如何？
How do you feel about his
不
doing
错
first?，It's extremely good.
4个字结束，就觉得他们玩得非常好，对。
对。
好，那最后一个问题是，你们的坦克联动其实变得非常不错。那你们觉得你
So
们
your tank synergies improved a lot.
改变或者是加强的地方吗？
What do you think you
单
need
兵
to
能
improve?
力。
看他们能力，哎，你觉得这是4个字结尾？好，太紧张，没关系。好，那我们谢谢我们的旺。
So I didn't quite catch the answer to that one, but
那稍后的现场还有活动。
at the end of the day, though, look, they're already looking at the other side of the table. So
Yeah.
when they're asked, like, who are you really starting to look at? They're thinking Detonator Korea, Hong Kong Attitude, and Machi all look pretty tough. And the other side of the bracket is exactly where we will be ending up when we come back from the break. As already previously teased, it's going to be a Bazaar versus Chaos Theory. So don't go anywhere. We'll have that action ready for you soon.